Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed your long weekend. It's nice to have a little break in the middle of the semester. Normally, at this time of the semester, we would start to review before the midterm exam. But as you know, the midterm exam is canceled. So this week, consider our review some extra practice to help you learn the material really well. And then, when the final exam comes around, you'll know this stuff really perfectly. Today, we're going to review Unit 1 and Unit 2. In these two units, we talked about our health and also we talked about the environment. Let's start with an overview of the topics. In Unit 1A, we started by talking about our heart health. We discussed different types of habits that could improve or maybe even damage our health. This included things like diet and exercise and bad habits like smoking. Then in Unit 1B, we moved on to another area of our health. We talked about allergies. This can include seasonal allergies, allergies to animals or pollution, and more importantly, we talked about food allergies. Then at Unit 2A, we changed topics and we started talking about the environment. Specifically, we started talking about energy, different ways that we use and produce energy, and different habits that we can learn to conserve energy. Then in Unit 2B, we started talking about the environment and pollution. Specifically, we discussed ways to reduce waste to try to help the environment. Now that we've seen all of our topics at a glance, let's review our vocabulary. In Unit 1, we learned 10 vocabulary words related to our health. I'm going to show you some pictures. You will see 3 pictures that come quickly and disappear. Can you remember the vocabulary words? Then you will see a fill-in-the-blank sentence. Try to remember the words and complete the sentence. Then we'll check your answers. Okay, let's get ready for the first 3 pictures. They will come and disappear very quickly. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What? Hello? Okay. 3, 2, 1. 1. There you go. Okay, so did you remember the pictures? Now look at the sentence and it might help you remember the words. A healthy and regular will keep your heart. Now let's look at the pictures one more time. A healthy diet and regular exercise will keep your heart strong. Okay, that was a good warm-up. Let's make another sentence. You'll see 3 pictures and they will disappear. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that was very fast. Let's look at the sentence. Studies show that can high blood. Let's look at the pictures again. Studies show that stress can cause high blood pressure. Okay, very good. Remember, cause means to make something happen. And pressure is the force when we squeeze something really strongly. Let's look at our next exercise. For the final one, we are going to see 4 pictures and make 1 sentence. Okay, so 4 pictures. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, here's the sentence. People with are less to develop. Now let's look at the pictures. People with healthy habits are less likely to develop diseases. Okay, very good. Now this picture for likely, this is a new picture. And if you look at this image, you'll see a spin wheel. A is very likely. It's probably going to happen. Okay, that was a tough one. Now let's review the listening topic from Unit 1A. You can see a beautiful, what is her job? That's right, she is a nurse. In this listening file, a nurse gave health advice to prevent what kind of disease? Can you remember? We can see the advice that she gave, right? Getting your heart checked, keeping your cholesterol low, eating a healthy diet, quitting smoking, exercising, and checking your weight. She gave advice to prevent heart disease. Okay, let's move on to the grammar. In Unit 1A grammar, we learned these words. Always, usually, frequently, often, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, rarely, never. Can you remember what this grammar point is called? That's right. They're called adverbs of frequency. Here we can see a calendar. Oh, I'm blocking some of the words. Let's see. Let's move here. Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we can see how often we do something. So we use adverbs of frequency to describe how often we do something. Now look at this sentence. I run in the park. When we use an adverb of frequency, we put it after the subject and before the verb. So let's look at this example, run in the park. They run in the park on Monday and Tuesday. Which adverb of frequency do you think we should use? Practice making a sentence. Very good. I think you could use any of these yellow words. Occasionally, seldom, or rarely. Let's make another sentence, but let's use walk her dog. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, that one was pretty easy. I always walk her dog. Let's do one more. Do sports. I do sports. Okay, good. We're looking at 50%. I sometimes do sports. Great. So that was our Unit 1A grammar topic. Now let's move back up here. Next, 1B. So in 1A, we talked about our heart health. In 1B, we talked about allergies. They can be seasonal allergies or food allergies, and many other kinds of allergies as well. For this vocabulary review, you can see the definitions of the word. Can you remember what vocabulary word is being referenced here? Let's start with the first one. The smallest part of an animal or plant. We usually see this when we look through a microscope. This is, very good, it's a cell. How about the verb, goes into? Maybe you remember a door that opens and we enter, very good, or enters. Next, protects. Something in our body protects us from allergens. The vocabulary word is defends. Reacts by doing something. So, the cells that defend our immune system respond. Very good. Respond or responds. And then make or create. Makes or creates. It produces. Okay. Next 5 words. Work that involves studying something. Usually scientists do this. This is research. An idea used to explain something. Think about Albert Einstein. He had a theory, a theory of relativity. Next, something usual or that we see very often is something common. It has something inside. Think of, for example, I have a bucket. It has something inside. It contains something. And finally, happens, a reaction occurs in the body. Great. Now let's remember the listening part. So in this audio file, 2 people were having a conversation. Can you remember what their conversation was about? In this audio file, Elena explains her various allergies and discusses the increase in food allergies in children. And remember, they talked about how increasing a number of food allergies in children has become a serious health problem. All right, let's look at the grammar. We're going to see some examples, and I want you to remember the name of this grammar point. This grammar point changes a statement into a question. So, we're going to use tag questions. And remember, when we make a tag question, there's always one positive and one negative. Think of a battery. So, when we have a positive statement, you like cake. The tag question is always negative. You like cake, don't you? And if we flip the battery and start with a negative statement, she hasn't called yet, then the tag question must be positive. She hasn't called yet. Has she? Okay, so tag questions. Remember our battery. Positive, negative, negative, positive. And we use tag questions to do 2 different things. Number 1, to confirm if something is true or not, or 2, to encourage a reply. You might remember that we watched a video clip of a mom who was very angry with her son, and she said, "You cheated on that test, didn't you?" Remember how her intonation went down? When her intonation went down, she already knew the answer to the question. She used a downward intonation because she was angry. If we use an upward intonation, it means that we're asking a real question. We don't know the answer, or we want to hear the other person's answer. It's pretty easy, don't you think? Okay, now let's look at Unit 2. In Unit 2, we began talking about the environment. For this vocabulary review, I'm going to show you a picture and a sentence that uses a synonym, which is in pink. Let's read the sentence together and see if you can remember the vocabulary word that matches the synonym. We decreased our energy bill by switching to energy-efficient light bulbs. Let's look at this graph. Decreased. Very good. We reduced our energy bill. It went down, or we made it less. Vocabulary word number 2. 50% of our household electricity is sourced from renewable power. Solar power, solar energy. Awesome. And there are many different kinds of energy. Solar energy, wind energy. We can make power from coal or water. All right. Next word. Unfortunately, factory farming practices are necessary to supply the world's desire for meat. When we desire something, we really want it or we really need it. The vocabulary word is demand. The world's demand for meat. And you can see how many animals are in this one factory farm. Pretty crazy. Next word. Diamonds and pencils are both made from graphite. Look at this thing in the middle. Graphite. The vocabulary word is carbon. Carbon and graphite are not true synonyms. They don't mean exactly the same thing. But graphite is a material that is made with carbon. So they're very closely related. Next. Mankind's insatiable need for more farmland has had a disastrous effect on the environment. A disastrous effect. We can also use the word impact. Yes, the impact is the result of something. Disastrous impact. After many years of effort, conservationists have successfully raised the panda population. And they're very cute. So when we get more and more, when we raise the number, we are increasing. They have successfully increased. Next, the production of beef is severely more harmful to the environment than the production of chicken. And we can see in this infographic just how many resources are needed to produce 1 kilogram of beef. So if we want to create 1 kilogram of beef, we need 22,000 liters of water. But 1 kilogram of chicken only needs 2,300 liters of water. That's a big difference. So if it's severely more harmful, it is significantly. It's so much that we can't ignore how important it is. Next, the Earth is surrounded by a cushion of air. And there are many layers in this cushion of air. Very good. This is the atmosphere. It is better to be effective than to work hard needlessly. Okay, so look at these workers. They're all working very hard, but he is more effective or more efficient. Very good. Next, we can save water by taking shorter showers. Very good. We can conserve or save. Now let's look at the listening part. Can you remember these 3 families? We talked about the Panchal family, the Nelson family, and the Chuma family. In this audio file, we compared the energy consumption habits of families from what countries? India, America, and Botswana. Take a look at these images. Can you remember their energy habits that we discussed? Next, the grammar. In this grammar point, we had two different verb tenses that are similar but used for different reasons. Let's look at the first example sentence. We can see a calendar and a sentence with the verb in red. She works every Friday. Can you remember the name of this verb tense? Very good. It's the simple present. Now let's look at the next one. Oh, the next one is present continuous. Sorry, I'm driving right now. In the present continuous, we can see two parts. The be verb, I am, you are, he is, and then our verb with ing. I am driving. You are sitting. We are learning. Okay, but why do we use simple present and present continuous? Remember we had that class marker participation activity and you needed to write many sentences? Well, let's review the different reasons for using these verb tenses. We use a simple present to talk about routines, habits, opinions, and facts. These are things that are repeating or things that are always true. So if she works every Friday, we know that it will always repeat on Friday. We use present continuous, however, to talk about things that are happening right now, in this moment. They might end soon. And we also use it to talk about actions happening around now or happening soon. So remember that class marker activity had some questions like, what are you doing after class? We should use present continuous. Ah, after class, I'm going to pizza school to eat some pizza. Okay, so remember present continuous is a limited time. It's happening now or happening soon, but it will end. Simple present is always true, or it will always repeat. Now the last unit in our review, 2B. This time you will see an image with no other prompt. Try to remember the words. So here are the first 5 vocabulary words. I'll give you some time to look at them and think about it. And remember, in 2B, we talked about a zero waste lifestyle. So we talked about the things that we buy, the things that we use, and the different habits that we have that can impact the environment. Okay, let's check the vocabulary words. Number 1, a tool or something that is useful in many situations is practical. Number 2, if we don't want any more, we want to use less and less, we are trying to cut back on something. Cut back on alcohol, cut back on cigarettes, cut back on fast food, or cut back on electricity. Next, something from your area is local. In the next one, oh, what a shame. They're throwing away all this good food. It is a waste. And to change the old for something new, to replace. Let's look at the next 5 words. I'll give you a moment, and then we'll check the vocabulary words. Okay. Number 1, he's checking how much he spent and how much he earned. He is trying to keep track of. He's trying to check every part that he did. Next, different appliances like your computer or your fridge will use or consume a certain amount of electricity. Next, our goal is our target. When we exercise, the changes happen slowly. The changes are gradual. And finally, a certain amount out of 100 is called a percent. Okay. Now, the listening part. You might remember this family that started to argue a little bit. In this audio file, a father is shocked by his high energy bill. The son and daughter discuss ways to conserve energy. But of course, the brother and the sister start to fight a little bit. Next, our grammar point. We learned many different words in this grammar point. Should, shouldn't, ought to, ought not to, had better not. Can you remember what this is called? Very good. This is called modals of advice. And the different modals of advice are used for different reasons. And we can see the happy face or the angry face, which shows how strong the meaning of each modal can be. So we can use modals of advice to give advice, of course, or explain what is the right thing to do. So if I want to tell you what I think is the right thing to do, I will use the word should. You should drink more water, or you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. If I want to tell you my advice more strongly, I'll use the word ought to or ought not to. You ought to wear a mask. You ought not to shake hands, especially now with coronavirus. And if you want to be really strong and give a warning, we use the modal had better or had better not. And sometimes we use a contraction. You had better, you'd better. She had better, she'd better. You'd better wash your hands. You'd better not share food. Okay, so different modals of advice, different levels of intensity, and also a slightly different purpose for each one. Now for this week's participation work, we're going to do a review quiz on class marker. This is not an exam, so please don't worry about your final score. Your participation quiz today will not be added to your final class score, just your participation point. This is a practice for you to really use your skills again. The first part of this participation review quiz is a review of the listening parts. So please have the audio files ready. You're going to listen to all 4 audio files, Unit 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. And of course, please complete the attendance quiz as usual. Okay, so our participation is a review quiz, and the attendance is the attendance quiz. Now it's time to talk about your first assignment this semester. This assignment is a video presentation project. That means that you are going to talk about a certain topic in front of a camera and present your ideas. Because we are still online, I've decided to change this project. Originally, in our very first week, we discussed this assignment perhaps being a group project. However, now it will be a solo project. So don't worry about other students who are absent or who don't answer your messages. This is a solo video assignment, a solo video presentation. Let's first talk about your assignment goals. What are we trying to accomplish in this project? The goal of this assignment is to practice using vocabulary and grammar from Unit 1 and 2 to talk about real-life topics. So all of the grammar and vocabulary that we just reviewed is going to be used in this assignment. Our second goal is to practice presenting your opinions clearly in English. A really important part that we must look at together is the grading rubric. You can find a copy of this rubric on YSEC. Because the midterm exam was canceled, our assignments are now worth a little bit more. Assignment 1 will be worth 15% of your final grade. Take a look at the rubric, and you'll see that there are 5 categories that will be assessed in this assignment. Each category can earn a maximum of 3 points. So 3 times 5 categories is a total of 15 points if you get a perfect score. The first category is presentation. Presentation includes the volume of our voice, the use of body language, and our level of confidence. We call this type of communication paralanguage. This is language outside of our words. It can also include eye contact and facial expression. Number 2, I will check your vocabulary. We must use vocabulary from Unit 1 and 2, and it must be used correctly. Next, I will check your grammar. We should include many different examples of grammar from our lessons, and we should use it, number 1, in the correct structure, and number 2, for the correct purpose. Next, pronunciation. Focus on your mouth. I want to hear the words clearly with good intonation and stress. So think of those tag questions. Do you want the intonation to go down, or do you want the intonation to go up? This will have a big impact on the meaning of your sentence. So always practice your intonation, pauses, and emotions. These can help you pronounce your words clearly and communicate your sentence well. Finally, I'm going to check visuals. For this video presentation, I want you to include some visual elements like a picture or a calendar. For example, if I wanted to talk about my daily routine using simple present, I can show you my calendar and say, every Monday I make coffee and jog at 7 a.m. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to the library. Or we can use other visual aids to enhance our presentation, and I will explain those later in this video. In total, you will have a score out of 15, and this will become 15% of your final class grade. I might also add some additional notes depending on your presentation or if you were late submitting your work or something like that. Let's talk about the topics. So you have 3 choices, and these are also on the outline that you can find on YSEC. These topics are related to Unit 1 and Unit 2. Topic number 1. Life in quarantine is very restricted. With online classes, students are sitting for many hours a day. How can people maintain their fitness indoors? Create an exercise and health plan to help people stay healthy in quarantine. Give recommendations and demonstrate a healthy routine. Topic number 2. Shellfish allergies and peanut allergies are dangerous enough to kill. However, many restaurants in Korea use shellfish ingredients or peanuts without warning labels. Create a safety guide for tourists in Korea who might be allergic to these ingredients. And number 3, many people have adopted green habits to save the environment. like using eco bags and reusable water bottles? What about major companies like IKEA and Beyond Meat? Make a short presentation about an eco-friendly company and explain the efforts they are making to save the environment. Please choose one of these topics for your project. If you have some ideas that are related to the topic, you can always send me an email and we can discuss your ideas. Let's talk about the structure of the project. So this assignment, as we discussed a long time ago in our very first lecture, is a video assignment. So in this video, you're going to talk about those topics that we just discussed, and you're also going to practice using our vocabulary and grammar. For this assignment, you must include 5 vocabulary words and 4 examples of grammar, or more. However, the video should be 2 to 3 minutes long. So in total, the final video is not very, very long. You can mix the vocabulary and grammar from Unit 1 and 2 in any combination that you want. So depending on your topic, you might want to use modals of advice, or maybe you'll use a lot of present continuous verbs. However, we should include a mix, at least one of each. Now, for the length. Videos that are too short or too long will be penalized 50%. Because there are many students and I want to watch everyone's videos, if we have 10-minute long videos for each student, it will take a very long time to really grade your work. So please, maximum 3 minutes. And I'm going to be very strict about this because of the number of students. Okay, so 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. That's it. Another thing, we must submit your files on YSEC. I need, number 1, a written script so I can check your grammar and vocabulary, and 2, the audio file, the video file. And when I watch the video file, I'm going to check your presentation, your body language, pronunciation, and your visuals. You will have 2 weeks to complete this video assignment. So lots of time for you to prepare the assignment and upload it. Of course, if you finish it early, I encourage you to submit it on YSEC and then I can start grading your assignment first. One important notice, however, do not submit plagiarized work. That means you cannot go on the internet and copy something directly. If you do, then I'm going to give you 0% on this assignment. I want to hear you practice your language skills. I want to hear your voice and your words. Next, if you submit your work late, you will lose 50% automatically. So on YSEC, the forum will close automatically on the due date. If you have to submit it after that, then you must email me and you will lose 50%. Finally, if you have an excused absence for the due date and you are not able to submit your work on that day, then you will have a little bit of an exception, but you must submit your documentation and you need to contact me right away. Okay, now how to make this video assignment? What should it look like and what should we do? Well, I don't want you to worry too much about the whole video making process. I don't expect you to have a Hollywood studio or spend many hours editing the perfect music video. This is just a simple presentation with yourself. Record yourself on your phone or with a camera or even your laptop, whatever you have that is easily available. I understand that not all students have the same resources, so please use whatever is convenient for you to find in your home. Then we're going to use some simple visuals to illustrate your ideas. This can include a small whiteboard like this. So maybe you have a small whiteboard and you can draw a little graph and say, oh, the number of this has increased, something simple like that. We can use a poster. You can print a poster that you found online, but if you do, please tell me where you found this information. For example, this is, um, for example, this is a chart that you can find on the World Health Organization website. Or you can present photos, and you can present photos that you have printed, or you can show photos on your phone that you have downloaded. And you can also use an iPad or a tablet or a laptop to show a presentation, or maybe even a PowerPoint. It's up to you. It's very open, and I encourage you to be creative. Okay, but don't worry about having a super HD high quality video with music and lots of crazy stuff. I just want to hear you speak, and I want to see your face and just know you as a person in your conversation skills. So that is the end of our assignment instructions. If there are any questions that you have or anything that is not clear, please email me right away and I will happily help you. Remember, we have 2 weeks for the assignment, but our regular attendance and participation must be completed within 1 week. Okay, that's it for today's lecture, a little shorter than usual, but I want to give you time to start working on your assignment and to complete your review quiz. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy a very good week. Goodbye.